Okay. And we got this all the way up, as loud as it's going to be. And let's try this. Because that would be even better, dude. If I could just use this freaking Bluetooth, that would be fantastic. That would be out freaking standing, man. To go back to that. All right. So, let's see. Let's close this down. We are streaming. And let's see. All right, it's working. That's fantastic. All right, it's working. That's fantastic. Okay. All right, now to get this stuff configured the way I want it to be. All right, now to get this stuff configured the way I want it to be. And why is there this lag on there? Why is there this lag? Let's see here. Let's just try that. And yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. So, oh my. Okay, let's do this. Do this. Which, I mean, honestly, what do we need this for? This can sit here. So, I don't see anything as far as All right. Well, let's do this. Of course. Okay. Okay. Come on now. There we go. All right. So we'll just put this right here because there we go. And then that. All right. So. I guess this is it here. So basically what I got here is I have a walkthrough that I wrote for this game over a number of years. And that was something I kind of put down a few years ago. I last worked on this, I want to say, the end of 2017. Maybe the early part of 2018. I don't know. Either way, it's been about 4 years, 4.5 years, something like that, since I really did anything on this. And I have never done any kind of streaming before. I made a couple of videos and posted them on YouTube as far as like video game stuff. There's some things. There are a few things on there as far as this game goes, and then there are. I think I got some Mega Man thing on the Mega Man X, maybe a couple. I think that was the first video I ever posted. I was just kind of playing around with it, trying to see what was the deal and all that. And then I posted a GoldenEye 007 video on how to get the invincibility award in that game. But everything else was pretty much um, just Final Fantasy 6, or I guess I've always called it Final Fantasy 3 because that's what it was called on Super Nintendo, but as time has gone on, I guess you could say that more people started calling it Final Fantasy 6. That was the original name. As far as the Japanese releases were concerned. So it's more accurate, I guess, to call it Final Fantasy 6. Then Final Fantasy 3, because there is a real Final Fantasy 3, and it's not this game. But in the United States, it was labeled Final Fantasy 3. Anyway, whatever. So this game, that I play, this challenge that I play, it's a low-level speed game, and the objective is to beat the game in the lowest possible level allowed by the game, and that is level 6. There's a little bit of manipulation of the levels along the way to get us to level 6, but basically the idea is that when you get to the world of Ruin, you collect only characters that are in level 6, and at the end of the game, your party members are only level 6, and then you beat the game in level 6. So for the most part, what you're doing is you are collecting the least amount of experience that is possible to collect. You have to use Gao for one segment, not because he's stronger or anything like that. It's just that, so when you fight the Imperial Air Force, which is a required, man, I messed up here, I should have paid more attention, which is a required segment of the game, you have to fight a set number of enemies, and that's just the way it is. And so that experience is mandatory. You can't get away from consuming that experience. But Gao, being a unique character in the game, he is able to be left behind, I guess you could say. If you leave him on the Veld and then go... Okay, so how the game calculates the level of your characters is this. There is the total sum of your character's level, and then divided by the number of characters, okay? So if you have 5 characters in level 5, you have 25 levels, and you have 5 characters, so you divide that by 5, and your average level would be 5. And it doesn't have to be 5 times 5. You could have 5 characters with all different numbers that add up to 25. Anyway, the math comes out to 25 divided by 5 equals 5. So um, that's basically how that works. Now, with that in mind, Gao and his level and his experience is not calculated into factoring the starting level of a character if he is not part of the group. He doesn't have to be an active party member to be part of the group, but he has to be acquired to be part of the group, just like anybody else. But Gao can be left on the Veld, and when he's on the Veld, his levels don't impact the levels or the starting levels of any characters that join the party. And there are a couple spots in the game where you lose party members, and when you lose those party members and then they rejoin the party later, if they do rejoin the party later, then their level is recalculated. And so with that recalculation, hold on a second here. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so basically the idea is Gao can eat experience. If you put him on the Vel before you go collect another party member, then whatever experience he had consumed would be left with him on the Veld, and he wouldn't factor into the equation at that point. So with the Imperial Air Force being a mandatory segment where experience must be consumed, we're going to give Gao all that experience. And then after the end of the Imperial Air Force, we drop, well, it's not just the Imperial Air Force, but basically we just drop him on the Veld. Now, it's not like we're like doing anything to use Gao to beat something we couldn't otherwise beat, because the Imperial Air Force uses a attack called Sub-Zero or something like that. I think it's Sub-Zero. Or maybe it's Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero will be a one-hit kill. And it's going to be a one-hit kill in battle number 1. And it'll be a one-hit kill. I don't know if it's 6 battles that you have to fight. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done this. Like I said, it's been like 4.5 years since I really played this game. But I think it's 6 battles, but I could be mistaken about that. Anyway. So Absolute Zero will still wipe out the entire party, whether it's the first fight or the last fight of the Imperial Air Force segment of the game. So it's not like him gaining levels allows us to kind of avoid having to fight battles. It doesn't allow us to beat battles we wouldn't otherwise be able to win, you know, because he's going to die in one hit either way, and everybody else will die in one hit. So what we do there is we use Gao to eat the experience of those fights. And if Absolute Zero hits, or if they use Absolute Zero, we all die and we have to start all over. It's a frustrating part of this challenge. It's the most frustrating, most difficult part of the challenge. Far and away. I can't think of another spot that's anywhere remotely close. Because it's all RNG, you know. I mean, you can execute perfectly all you want, and if the RNG doesn't come up in your favor, you're dead, you know. And anyway, so the other spot where Gao eats experience is the Mag Rotors. And I have devised a method through which I spread the experience out as best as possible. And so, uh, we keep the levels. It's not totally even. It's kind of a complicated thing. So, um, Gao at that point, I don't even think he's got the highest level at that point. I think Cyan or Kane or Cayenne, whatever anybody wants to call him. The guy from Doma. Uh, I think he might have the highest level. I think he has the highest base level of anyone at that point in the game. I think by 2 points. I think his level is the party's average +2. So I think the lowest you can get him is level 7, and I think that's higher than Gao. But anyway, we split that up there so that the party members. Hold on a second here. It's been a while since I did this. Maybe I can do it right in the first try. Let me think. I think I do this here. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, let's try this here. So we go here. Then we go here. Nope, I did that wrong. I think we go here, here. Then we go here. Then we go do this. Oops. I'm rusty. Very rusty. Okay, and then let's see if I can get this now. Nope, I didn't get it. Oh well. I was too slow. But as the headline says, this is practice. I'm just gonna throw a little bit of time into this and see how far I get into it. I don't even... Pretty sure... I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll even get there in time. Oh, I was thinking of a different battle. This one was straight up just easy. I don't even remember if I killed the Lobo first here. I want to say I don't. I think I killed the Marshal first. Which would be weird because that leaves 3 people to attack me while I'm attacking the one guy. But I think that's right, because I don't know. It's been 4.5 years, man. And I haven't looked at my guide in a while, so I don't have it all in my memory as much as I would have a few years ago. So basically what we do is we avoid all those battles. I mean, it doesn't really matter because these mods aren't going to factor anything, but in the spirit of the game, which is to gain the least amount of experience, we don't want to fight any extra battles that we don't have to. And plus, there's the idea that this is a speed run in addition to the low level run, so we're going to be trying to do this stuff as fast as we can in the lowest level as we can. So it's kind of a dual challenge, if you will. It's kind of, you know, I played this game so many times as a youth, and as I was playing through it, I just found that, you know, I was always too high of a level and I was always too strong. So this challenge is kind of a distillation of you know, the whole game being boiled down and then me removing all the things that were not necessary, leaving behind only that which was required. And this here, you know, I kind of, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I kind of think I'm going to, you know, go back and maybe rework some of this, try to shave some time off. One of the things I'm doing here, I don't really need to do. I think this is a spot that I can actually not do. I think I can do it. And there's some items here, which is why we're here. Oh, yeah, so I got this wrong. I just don't even remember. And I can't run away. So we'll be gaining experience here, which means that we'll be turning this off. Well, actually, no, we will, because of the mag rotors. That experience there that Locke acquired, I believe, will be too much. It'll push him over the limit there for the mag rotors and screw the whole world of balance, world of ruin dynamic out of balance there. Anyway, those items that I just collected there, there's the sleeping bag. That's the most important thing, but I think I can get by without it, honestly. So that would shave some time off of there, definitely. And there are a few more spots, you know, but I basically built this thing from the back to the beginning, you know, from the final battle of Kefka all the way back to the start is how that walkthrough was constructed. And so to rework it over again, you know, that's a lot of calculating. But it was just kind of a hobby, you know. I started doing this thing, I don't even know, more than a decade, well, probably over 15 years ago now, but I would kind of work on it in like the dead of winter, and so I'd, you know, for a month or two, you know, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 weeks out of the year, in the dead of winter, I would buckle down and just really work hard on. So this is another thing. Do I really need the antidote? Do I really need the tonic? You know, it just kind of depends on RNG. When I'm going through koltz, sometimes I need those items, other times I don't. And I don't remember what I buy here, honestly. I know I buy 3 echo screens. And I think that's maybe a soft, maybe an antidote. I don't remember. No, you know, I usually buy some tonics just because. But anyway, I'm going to have to go through and read my stuff. This is another thing here. This takes time here, but it's the Phoenix Down. And Phoenix Downs are expensive. I don't think I ever buy them until maybe the very late game. And that doesn't take that long to grab that Phoenix Down. So that's probably something I'll keep in there. Phoenix Downs are a big time RNG thing. You know, if you get lucky, then you'll never have to use one really until, you know, certain specific boss fights, maybe stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, we're not using Phoenix Downs, we're not using tents. We use sleeping bags. Those are probably the one thing, but they're kind of expensive. They don't cost that much, and once you get, I don't know, not very far in the game, you can kind of buy them whenever you want. So it's not like a really big deal. I take that back. I do buy some Phoenix Downs in Figaro when I get back here again. But that's a ways from now. That's probably a couple hours into the game. For as rusty as I am, I think I'm doing okay as far as movement and everything. I mean, I don't even remember. Do I talk to them? I think I do. Maybe not. Remember, I am rusty. I don't even remember my own thing. This is who I have to talk to. There we go. So yeah. This game is pretty awesome. I would say that it is a top 3 Super Nintendo game, which would put it in the top 10 all time, maybe? I don't know. That's a matter of debate, I suppose, and a matter of opinion. But, yeah, okay. So, probably I would say the best Super Nintendo game, in my opinion, all things considered, is probably Super Metroid, and it might be the best game ever made in the history of video games. It is some kind of... It's almost like somebody from the future went back in time and tried to create, like, the best video game ever made and drop it into our laps, like, 100 years early, because it's so advanced. It's just unbelievable. Probably the next best game on the Super Nintendo. Probably Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger, I almost want to say that's the #1 game, but I just can't put an RPG #1, an RPG of this era anyway, simply due to the fact that you're not really manipulating a character on the screen. There's not a skill set that requires you to really do any real tricks. I mean, there are tricks, but it's not like Super Metroid where you're doing so much. I mean, there's so much that can be done in that game. As far as manipulating Samus, manipulating the environment, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, and it's so difficult. It's so technically difficult. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know how to describe how advanced that game is. And that's part of why I think it's probably the best game on the system. And then there's this game, which, all 3 of those games, they just kind of stand alone on their own. And so it's difficult to pick one over the other. I would say that Chrono Trigger is a little bit different genre of game. Yeah, they're both are JRPGs, and they're both from the same era. But the battle system is different, and I would say of its class of game, Chrono Trigger is probably the best ever made, and of its class of game, Final Fantasy VI, it's gonna be in the running. It's definitely in the running. Probably the 3 best games in the Final Fantasy franchise, in my opinion, are going to be, in no particular order, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X. 10 might be the best, but it's totally different battle system. So, like Chrono Trigger, it's kind of on its own level, where it's got a unique battle system that is kind of different than anything that anybody else ever made. And it's just, I don't know, man. Final Fantasy X is pretty good, dude. It's pretty good. It's pretty freaking good, man. Chrono Trigger is as well. So the thing is, the funny thing about that, so I guess the way I kind of view things is, I kind of got distracted there. If you pick up a game and you play it, and you put it down, and you play another game right after it, it's kind of like food, right? So if you eat something, and then immediately, before changing your or cleansing your palate, you go ahead and eat something else, does the thing you ate second taste better than the thing you ate first? If it doesn't, then what you ate first is better. And there's not really a good argument to be made against that, other than, because you're dealing with your own preference, right? I mean, with somebody else, you can make an argument, but for yourself, I mean, you're just, you taste the first thing, you taste the second thing. If the first thing tastes better than the second thing, the first thing's better. It's just the way it is. Now, there's different kinds of food, but I mean, there's also, you know, sweet versus sour, stuff like that, so it, you know, kind of muddies the water a little bit, but I think the spirit of what I'm trying to say here rings true, in that about the only game that I can put down and then, like, let's say I play Chrono Trigger, right? No, let's say I play Super Metroid, okay? If I play Super Metroid, that's it, man. I can't pick up another Super Nintendo game, and I might not be able to pick up another video game, period, and feel like I'm playing something superior to what I just played. Super Metroid is just that good, and I'm not even that good at Super Metroid. I mean, I'm not good. I'm not good at all. I don't even know if I'm average at Super Metroid. I'm probably mediocre at best, and I'm probably not even mediocre. I'm probably garbage at Super Metroid. I think that would be a more accurate description of my talent and skill level and ability of Super Metroid would be garbage. But I can still recognize what a good game it is. Whether or not I'm good at it or not doesn't have any bearing on how good of a game it is. Chrono Trigger, you know, that's one of those games where you put down Chrono Trigger after you just got done playing it. What can you play that you're going to feel like you're playing a better game? You know, like, what is that game? And for me, that's going to be Super Metroid, because I can play Super Metroid after I played anything and feel like I'm not playing an inferior game. Because it's that freaking good, man. It's a pretty good game. So yeah, probably Super Metroid, then probably Chrono Trigger, and then probably this game. Super Metroid I played countless times. I couldn't tell you how many times I played it. And I'm still garbage, because it's just so technically taxing, and it's just, I don't know, if you could make a perfect game, that's the closest thing I probably ever played to a perfect game, is Super Metroid, even though I'm garbage at it. And then Chrono Trigger, you know, it's kind of stupid, but I've only played Chrono Trigger one time, and I need to go back and play it again, but it was such a impressive game to me, and it's like, it wrecked me for video games, you know what I mean? I'm kind of bitter toward it, because it was so good that I couldn't pick up anything and play a game and really enjoy it for a long time after that, you know? It's that good of a game. And I kind of played it, I wouldn't say, I don't know how low level I played, I really can't say for sure. Okay, so the spot that we're at here, we want to get 4 encounters here with Rhodox. There's 4 possible groupings of Rhodoks that we can get. That's one of them, and there's 3 others, and it kind of sucks sometimes to try and get all of those. And technically, I don't have to get them all, but I recommend it, because later in the game, when the RNG starts to really kick in, what am I doing here now? What am I doing here? Where am I going? I don't even remember. I'm not even 100% sure. I'm pretty sure. Man, I don't even know if I need to talk to him. I don't even remember. I think I was supposed to just leave the building, honestly. But maybe I do have to talk to him first here. I don't remember. What the heck was I saying about the RNG now? Bum 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 bum. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I totally lost my train of thought there. Oh well, this is just a short practice here. I'm probably not going to be on this particular play much longer. I'm going to have to get up and stretch and... Oh wait, no, I'm going the wrong way here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Rhodoks, yeah. Okay, so... yeah, that's fantastic. So... And I forgot to do something earlier, too, with equipment. I'm so out of... Oh well, it doesn't really matter. So Rhodoks, the Rhodoks Rage in particular, I forget what the name of it is even now, like what the ability, oh, Numbblade, it does, so you learn, or Gao will have access to the Numbblade Rage, or it'll be Rhodoks Rage, but Numbblade is the ability that you get. So normally, alright, so this is one of the harder ones to get, so that's cool. So normally when I'm doing this for best times, what I'll do here is I really limit myself. You know, I get like 4 or 5 steps to get into a battle, and if I don't get into a battle, I just reload. But we're not doing heavy grindage here, and I don't know what I'm going to even do about that. I mean, I think if I can, I don't know. Anyway, oh crap. So this is the thing here, right? So I would give myself like 3 or 4 steps. If I get into a battle that I desire, then I will go ahead and I'll run away from it, then I'll save immediately, and then I'll reload and try again. And so what I want to do here is I want to get all 4 Rhodoks formations. And the reason being is that once I'm on the Veld, I don't want to get too far into this, but there's, oh really? So now I'm locked in a cycle now, right? So this is one of the reasons why I reset, because the game likes to get into these cycles sometimes. It's just an RNG thing, and then you start fighting the same thing over and over and over, and this is not what I want. There's 2 more Rhodoks formations. One is 4 Rhodoks, and then the other one, I don't even remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's Rhinotar. There he is. This is it. This is the other one. So then the other one is, so I'm kind of lucky. I've got 3 of the formations pretty quickly. I haven't even had a solo Rhinotar, which is probably the most common, or Rhinotar Grease Monk. That's probably, those 2 are probably the solo Rhinotar, and then the 2 Grease Monk plus Rhinotar are probably the 2 most common formations on this segment of the map if you're not in the forest. I don't think you can get the 4 Rhodoks outside of the forest, which is why we're still here. But when I'm really grinding hard for time, what I'll do is I'll give myself 3 or 4 steps, If I don't get what I want, I reset and try again. That probably, you know, as in the last 4 years, I've learned that people doing speed runs, it's not, there we go. So here's our 4 Rhodox formation. So this is actually pretty fortunate to have gotten all of the 4 formations that rapidly. That's not typical to get them that fast. And this short number of encounters. So when people do speed runs, I've learned, 'cause I didn't even know, like, I mean, a lot of times the stuff that I do, you know, I'm kind of like just, I don't know if I want to say nonconformist. I don't know if that's actually the right way to put it, but I kind of just beat to my own drum, right? I dance to the beat of my own drum. So, um, how I ended up, there we go. So how I ended up doing speed runs on this game or whatever I'm doing, whatever this challenge is. I like to do challenges for games. If I find a game that I really, really like, what I'll do is I'll just create a challenge in my own mind about, okay, well, what can I do to make some fun out of this? Because, you know, what they built here is, I mean, sure, it's fun, but let's make it more fun. So for example, just off the top of my head, one of the like the first things that sticks to my mind of a really just asinine challenge that I gave myself was it was, I think, Grand Theft Auto 4, the one with Nico. Um, I don't know how I discovered this, but I was just playing the game one time, and I found that I could get to the second island before you're supposed to get to the second island, right? And so I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool. So I learned that I could get to the second island before you're supposed to, or before you're allowed to get there. So I had got to second island, and I'm driving around, and as soon as you get to a spot you're not supposed to be, you know, you get like maximum stars, right? And so you got the whole world coming down around you. And so I don't know if I intentionally did this the first time, or if it was just something that kind of, I think it was just something that kind of happened, right? So, um, so what I did was, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember 100%, but whether it was like just serendipitous or if it was something that like I was like, hey, this sounds like a cool idea. Let's try this, which is possible, but it's probably more likely that I just fell ass backwards into this. And what I did was my car was probably almost ready to blow up, and so I jumped out of my car and hopped into, I think it was an FBI car. And oh man, I don't even remember what I'm supposed to do here, dude. Oh man, you know, I don't even remember. Do I give this to him? No, 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 no. What I do is I give him this, and then I give her this. That's right. And while I'm here, I may as well. And I think I have that backwards. I think I should have healing first there. So I get out of my car, I steal the FBI car, and somehow, some way, I get back to the first city and I lose my stars. Then later on, I get to the second city legitimately, and I find out, hey, I have a car parked. So in that game, if you you have these safe houses or whatever they're called, and outside of the safe house, you have like a designated parking spot. And if you park a car there, the game saves it for you, okay? Well, I learned then that you don't have to actually unlock the save house to be able to save a car in your parking spot. The parking spot is tethered to the save spot, or to the safe house, regardless of if you've unlocked the safe house or not. So that was kind of an interesting thing. And so when I get there, I see this car that I remember, because like, it was a unique car. I don't remember what the car was, but it was a unique car that I had taken over there. And so I found that, oh, okay, so it saves your car whether or not you have the safe house or not. So once I knew that, on future replays, that was something that I kind of went out of my way to do, which was to take a car over to the second city and store it there, and then steal an FBI car and make my way back to the first city and lose my tail, so that when I got there later, I would have this kick-ass car waiting for me. So weird challenges, right? I like to do that kind of stuff. And so, you know what? I think what I'm going to do here is, yeah, right, okay. So, this is why I have tonics. Because you never really know, Usually I'll be able to heal up there with Terra. And, yeah. But that time I didn't. I wasn't able to do that. Didn't have enough. Oh man, okay, so this is why I keep antidotes, because of these guys. And so I only have one. I usually would have bought some there at the Figaro Castle. It's kind of coming back to me a little bit. But like I said, I haven't really I haven't read my walkthrough, and I don't have it all totally memorized anymore. So it's kind of one of those things where I just kind of hope I don't get poisoned again. Otherwise, probably I won't be able to beat this guy coming up. But I think what I'll do here is I'll fight this battle coming up here, and then I think maybe I will just make a save. I kind of want to just play through this thing with just my old foggy memory, see where I can get out of it. I kind of want to know if getting that experience there will screw all of the math up later. Just that one little bit. I think it probably will. But it would be nice to know if I have any wiggle room at all, Kind of interesting for me anyway. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, and let's try this. And let's see here. I think what I do here is this and this, and I should have done that earlier, but let's go with this, and then we'll go with there we go. I didn't even give him his guardian yet. How stupid am I? Alright, let's see how it goes. Probably I should win here. I think I would say in my walkthrough that you have a 90% chance to win this on your first try, or within your first 3 tries, I don't remember. It just depends a lot on kind of Locke here. If they kill Locke before he gets to go twice, then that creates some problems. Also, there is Edgar. You want to make sure Edgar, we gotta hope Edgar doesn't get heavily targeted. It's better for Locke to get hit and killed then there we go. So we did get kind of lucky, and I wasn't paying attention. I should have been spamming this stuff here. So now we gotta hope that we can get 2 fires off, and then the rest should be, yeah. Well, we're not gonna get 2 fires off, so we'll see. We should get this though, I think, still, unless we get really unlucky. Like he starts hitting me with crits here. I think we should still get it by like 1 round. Well, this is it right here. Oh, 1 hit point. So by 1 round, it looks like we should get it. There we go. So by 1 freaking hit point, we just kind of... The strat works, man. The strat works. So there's that. That's kind of how a lot of these are on the bosses and stuff like that. You know, you just trust the strat. It might not look very good. Like it might look like you're gonna be a goner, but no pun intended there with a goner. But yeah. So yeah, I think we'll make a save here, and maybe I will. What the hell? How did I? Oh no! I have to use pummel, don't I? Sure. Yeah, that's why. Boy, I'm rusty. Terribly rusty. Rusty old man here. Well, probably nobody is gonna ever watch this and stuff, but who knows? Maybe somebody will someday. And yeah, so I'm gonna make a save here, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll do some more of this later. We'll see. I hope anyone who did give their time to my content here, that's pretty awesome of you. And I guess if you made it this far, you were enjoying yourself here. So yeah, this has been my first attempt at any kind of like streaming stuff, and well, I don't know why I got that tent. I think there's one spot maybe where I do actually use a tent there, but not here. So, or actually, you know what? This is where I use the tent. I use that tent right here. Yeah, because RNG had me dying, so I'm gonna have to use this tent so that I can strip all of the gear off my dudes. So, yeah. Peace out, homies.